to be able to create a structure that can scale. And to do that, you break up into smaller groups, and you do that always, anyway. Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. Have a group of 10 people, they are not working 10 people all the time. Never. They will break up into smaller groups. So how to create a system of an organization where you have small groups, but you have lots of them. Theoretically, it's possible to organize the whole world in 7 layers. Yes, it's a matter of numbers, but this is actually possible theoretically. But and we have organizations with 7 layers. If you take the real big ones, they have 7 layers or more. So the question is how to create good organizations, and we can start with the first one, a little one with maybe 20 people or something. And you must excuse my bad PowerPoint. I couldn't make this one bigger. But we imagine, if we imagine this has started out with a big circle of about 20 people. But they don't want to discuss everybody, all the time. So they don't want to meet 20 people. And if we go back to this picture, we have the vision, mission, and aim. And we have the overall aim, let's say, of a meditation center. We have a gardening place, we have kitchen things, we have seminar business and teaching and whatever. We have a number of kinds of activities here. So we have a meeting, which is called the general meeting, or the general circle, where people discuss the general issues. So we put on the agenda of that meeting general issues only. And one general issue would be to see that we have a specific issue called kitchen, specific issue called gardens. And that will naturally be another group. So they will meet and do the kitchen talk, and the garden talk, and the other kinds of talk. So that all groups meet around issues that are of personal interest to them. We will find a hierarchy here, but it's not a hierarchy of power. The general circle doesn't say has to be like this, and then you just obey. Because if it's not there, the garden is not there, or the car is not there, then it doesn't work. So when we see this picture in a power view, it is flat. Everybody has the same access to power. So if the general circle decides that something has to happen, and the kitchen circle just decides that it can't happen, then it won't happen. Right? It's not everybody is equal in that respect. But there is a hierarchy, and the hierarchy is basically about abstraction, which is vision comes first, mission comes next. How to actually do this with peace and love is practical, actually quite practical to know a lot about how to integrate and nonviolent communication and all that. But then there's an aim. And the aim of creating a meditation center is more abstract than the aim of creating the parts of it. And you can say that it's not only about abstraction, which to many people is even an abstract word. It's also about time scale. You need to have the abstract decisions before the other ones. So it's not about being more important, it's just that it doesn't make sense to make long-term decisions if you have made all the short-term decisions. Right? So to have them equal, they have to be in a certain sequence. You have to do the long-term decisions first. So the hierarchy is not about power, it's just a sequence of discussions. We make the decision on vision, mission, and aim before we make the decision on what food do we serve. Right? So to make this clear, if we do that, we'll have the efficiency of a hierarchy without having the hierarchy of power. It's actually as simple as that. And then be able to split up the groups and make a plan to say, November, we have the discussion about the visions. December, we make the aims. January, we make the specific aims for the groups. February, we make blah, 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 blah. And then we go on from there. Yeah.
But vision and mission are not something you discuss all
Pardon?
the time. I mean, vision and mission are something you discuss for a relatively long period of time. I mean, we discussing that every year.
You don't change them a lot, but just to make sure that we have done that before we do the other thing. Because we probably can do like vision, mission, and then we do something like this, and then we go down here. Can you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But because, yeah. So, one moment, I'll see if we come to this thing. Yes, you want to add something?
Yeah, if everyone has the same, let's say, power, but if there's not everybody has the same commitment or the same morality or the same, how do you deal with that?
We deal with that in the way that we simply have people sit in the circles where they want to, or they can contribute. Because people who don't really want to discuss visions and plans and abstractions and decision-making processes and things like that, well, let them do something else.
Yeah, but then later maybe they feel like, oh, I'm not
But
part
they'll
of
have
it.
they'll have the opportunity.
Okay.
And another thing is that what I was showing you just now, one of the very new things about sociocracy is that if you you split up the organization so you have a general circle where some people sit and they do the general discussion and make some general ideas about what are we doing. And then some people want to do agriculture. And then you make sure that there are two people that sit in with both circles. This is new. In very many organizations you have one person who is elected a leader of the next level. And he's also supposed to take the information of the next level up to the higher level. In this organizational model, there are always two persons, and one of them has specifically the responsibility to make sure that when we are meeting in the agricultural circle, this red person is the one who remembers the perspective of the general circle. And who says that I'm here to remind you of the overall view. And if I forget it, anybody can forget it. But I'm the one who remembers that. And vice versa. So when the general circle meets, the same two persons are there, but now it's this person's job to keep this perspective of this circle.
Good.
In this way, you don't have a conflict of loyalty for any person. And what you see is that information and decision making creates a system like, Dan Christian compared it to the blood in the veins. You have general ideas, and they are working from the general circle through this so-called operational leader out in all the levels below. And the experience of the things in practice will go the other way up. So you have a flow of information that is completely clear who's supposed to inform about what and where. And everybody has the full objection rights in the circles they sit in. So, and this is one of the, yes, it is the favorite story about the successful of this system is that the Enacting Electronic company, they had half of their trade in the shipyard business. And then in the 70s, some of you noted, the shipyard businesses disappeared from Europe and got to Southeast Asia most of it. And they lost half of their trade, but out here in the organization, there was a fellow, he was an electrician. The people who were about to be laid off were the welders, people who were welding iron in the ships. And he just got the idea that these people know what they can do. What they don't know is how to use this ability in another context. So we'll teach them that. We'll use our emergency fund to give them a course in trade. So they go out and find some kind of new business. And then we will give them a tie as well. So these welders went out and found some other customers that could actually use their services. And the fellow had this idea, and he was elected as a representative of this circle. And when he was a full member of this circle, he was elected as a member of this circle. Which meant that within half a year he was actually sitting in the group that was similar to the board of this organization. And they actually managed to change the whole organization so much that they didn't have to lay off very many people. And they actually went out of the crisis stronger because they had got a new, whole new range of customers. So this thing that you have the clear information lines, and then you have the right to, when you sit in as a representative, you are sitting in on equal terms with all the rest in this group. And if you imagine these people as one circle, and I'd like to try and make it sure, if we take a group of people, like, how many people can we have here? 15 maybe? Please come up, 15 people or something like that. And make a circle. We can make a nice big one, maybe 20. We'll make it too big. It needs to be a little bit too big. So imagine that we have, this is a company, and we are so many people that it would be a waste of time for us to talk all the time together. So what we do is that we make some subcircles. And those of us who are interested in the general issues will create a general circle. So we just make a short leaving here, and then maybe so let's say this is how many people this circle takes, right? Like this. But you are the operational leader of the next circle, right? Which is the red point. So, and I'm the green one. So you can imagine we do our discussion, but then now and then you just go home. And we are meeting with a group here. Now, and it's your job to tell these people what happened here. And I'm listening a whole lot because I'm elected in this group. So when we go back here.
So I'm talking, you are listening, and the other members of the group?
Yes. So when we have meetings, well, let's say this is the kitchen group.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is your job to remember what happened here, and always make sure that this group remembers that there's this general circle, and they have some ideas about what the kitchen is about.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's your job. My job is to participate and know what's happening and take the perspective of this group. So that when we go back in this group, I'm the one who's telling what's happening in that group. And you're participating on like here. Can you see that? And so if we just turn a little bit and we just say you are here, like this, and let's say you're here, like this. So, and then the rest of you is maybe the garden group, right?
Garden group?
Yeah. So if you just hold your hands here, and I just
You disappear.
and just say You are the operational leader of the garden group, right? So you come in here like this, and you come in here. So if we have this structure, you hold here, and I hold here, and you hold here, right? So this is, we have a general circle. Are you with me? We have a general circle, and then we have two daughter circles, right? And in practice, we do our meetings and talk our general things, and you just go to the beach. Right?
That's what she wants.
You just go to the beach, but every now and then you meet, and then you turn. Yeah, and then you do the garden stuff. Then you do the garden talk, and we go to the beach.
You join hands, we are meeting.
Yes,
We have a
right?
beach meeting.
And every now and then we do some beach and talk.
And we go to the beach.
And you go to the beach, right?
Finally.
And then every now and then we just split up the whole thing, and then we are one circle, because basically this is the way the information has to walk in rounds. Everybody equal, but you can just imagine that there's a discussion going on. If we go back, right, this is here and here and here. We can have a question running around in this circle for some time, and some question pops up. We need to go to the garden circle. Then it goes up there, and then it runs around there, and then it comes back, and then it comes up here, and then it comes back. But if we had to do that with everybody present, we would waste a lot of time, and we would get bored and do not get to the beach.
Which is most important.
Right? Just to understand that this is actually a way of just making the circle a little bit more advanced, and still have the transparency and the equality of the circle.
And peace and love.
And peace and beach and love.
Peace on the
Yes,
beach.
yes.
And beach is not overcrowded.
But then communication skills.
Yes, and of course
Is,
communication
very
skills is important.
Yeah.
It's always important.
yeah.
But this is a way to make a structure where you are not left to your communication skills. You can feel pretty safe. You can trust that this system is supporting that information is not lost. It always has. It knows where to go all the time.
I have one question.
Yes.
We're the garden group.
Yes.
Can we make any decisions about anything that doesn't have anything to do directly with gardening? Or would we be involved in anything?
You will be involved because you will know. Let's say we have our. Let's say we go into the structure here where you are here, and the garden group there. In classic sociocratic practice, it would be the general circle who is giving birth to the daughter circle. And it will give you a name, and it will give you a domain of decision. You are allowed to do all the decision you're making as long as you stick within this domain and as long as you go for this aim. Then you have the authority to do whatever you find necessary. And you make your own policies about nonviolent communication or whatever you think. We may not need that here, or vice versa. So we don't have to create 1,000 rules that are applied to everybody. Every circle does its own policies work.
Can I make one question? Because what if you have like a violent communicator in one of the groups? Because that's really hard to handle. How do you go about it in such a setting?
You would say that you try and do it as well as you can, but if you find that you cannot solve a problem, then it's basically a rule of sociocracy that if you have a proposal and you can't consent in one meeting, you go and try another meeting. And if you can't do it in 2 meetings, then you'll refer it to another circle, which will say that if you have a person in your group who is sort of messing everything up, well, you will address it in the general circle. And then we'll have to make some discussions on a higher level, which will be not a higher level like power, but a more abstract level. Is this a place for respect? Is this a place for love and peace? It's not about kitchen or garden, it's about love and peace, which is on a level of a higher abstraction. And we'll discuss that here, right? On the general circle.
But we don't know what's going on in the kitchen, for instance.
You will find out because you have a representative here.
Okay.
And she is listening in with what's happening in the general circle. And the kitchen has a representative here. And she's telling us everything that we need to know. So if somebody of you wants to know what happens here, you can either just go and ask, or you can go officially this way around, because the system is containing all the information.
Can I ask something?
Yes?
If you are the one from the bigger group who brings the view from the bigger group in the smaller group, and you are in that small group, can you then still talk about the issues in the smaller group, or you only bring that view? How to say?
She's asking if the person who is meant to represent the view of the garden group in the central
Yes.
thing.
No, the other way around, huh?
Oh.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
It's the same.
Does the person who's the representative of one group have full voting and participatory rights in the other group?
Yes. So if you sit in a circle, you're equal. And you're not. And another thing is that you say that you have at least 2 persons.
Yeah.
You may, if a group for some reason says that I need to have this person in to represent because he knows something specifically, then he can go in as well. You can elect several persons because you're never counting. It's not about the numbers of persons, it's about the arguments. Right? And basically we respect any objection anywhere in the whole circle. So it's not about counting, so whether you take 2 representatives or 1, it doesn't change anything. The only very important thing is that this system assumes that you will need at least 2. One for the ingoing mail and one for the outgoing mail. At least 2.
The kitchen group can never participate all together in the general target.
Yes, if it's decided that maybe there will be policy in the general circle that it becomes too many or something like that. But that's again something that you can decide. But it's not sociocracy as such allows that the whole kitchen group comes if that's relevant for some reason.
How about the gender equality? Let's say that it's only women in the kitchen group and only men in garden group. Is it okay?
Sociocracy doesn't have an opinion on that. It's about equality, so I assume that gender equality is a part of it. Yes.
Now we saw that all subgroups have a connection to the general group above them. But is it also possible to have people who are participating in 2 subgroups, like they're interconnected subgroups? It's also possible.
And you can have persons representing several groups.
Okay.
It's possible, but it doesn't really change the system.
Okay.
It's just practical.
Another question. So now if you have, let's say, one day you have a very big question and everyone wants to be in the big meeting because you're discussing a big question. So at that time everyone can come if they want to. If they don't want to be on the beach.
It depends a little bit how will the group choose to organize. Maybe it's not practical to have several hundred people having objections. And Christian tells about
up to a point.
Up to a point. But Dine Christian talks about a kind of a compromise structure where the whole, very, very often in community contexts, everybody wants to be present when important things go on. but it's not practical to have objection rounds with 120 people.
Mhm.
So what they do is they make a fishbowl, and they elect a group of people, like 10 people, to do the objection round. And then they have everybody else sitting around and giving clarifying questions and coming with ideas, and maybe also their opinions. And then it's up to the group to administer this to objections and say, well, actually I heard something out there that was important, and maybe I will take it in.
Yeah. So if it's an issue that concerns everybody in the
Yes.
group, it can be in a general circle, everybody just to explain the thing that is going on, and then just subdivide it in small groups to discuss the big thing, and then the representative of each group just to take some.
When it comes to the very decisions, it is practical to have smaller groups. And in companies, the general circle is generally just representatives and operational leaders. Because, like, if you have a company with 2,000 people, it's not practical to do that. And it's not necessary, but what is found is that this works so well. So people find out that, well, we actually get the information, we actually can get access to influence if we want. So we go to the beach. Yeah.
What if there are issues which need a fast solution?
I can't say anything special about that. What I can say is that the discussions, when you are trained in this, are very fast. And they are faster than anything I've seen. I was in a simulation discussion where we just experienced how fast it could happen. And he said, the fellow who was teaching, he said that in his organization they could do 25 agenda issue in 2.5 hours. Including statute changes and like that. So it is extremely fast when you're trained.
It requires